Hello and welcome back to So Love Garden. It has been a long time. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that your family's well. I hope your garden is well. I was in the garden today and I figured it was a great day to go ahead and pick up the garden just to give you an update on how things are going and get back into the groove of recording again. So I wanted to give you an evening tour of what's going on in this early spring. So this first bed right outside of the hoop house is pretty much full of carrots. I pulled out a few of the winter things earlier today, did some harvesting of some green onions and just greens. I'm going to make some green powder and some onion powder. But the carrots are coming along pretty nicely. I sowed these right before winter, so it was like late fall. I've been harvesting them fairly slowly, but they're doing pretty good. I think these are Danvers carrots. Back there, that is burdock root. I'm planning on harvesting some of that this year. This is its second year. It's supposed to get a really big taproot. This is beneficial for maintaining blood sugar. I was going to share some, maybe dehydrate some, share some with my brother, but that's the plan for that. And then hopefully plant it again. Potatoes out here that I sowed, I don't know, maybe about a month ago now. They're doing really good in these grow bags. So here I have, I think that's lemon balm, and then this is apple mint, or no, banana mint right here, and then some various things that have gone to or found their way in the pot that aren't necessarily supposed to be in the pot, but I'm okay with it. Harvested the green onions earlier, and like I said, I'm kind of turning over some of the beds, so I'm gonna add some more soil here and then plant a few things there. I'm not sure exactly what. Planted out some tomatoes. This is lemon thyme. This smells so good. I need to actually see if I can divide it and move it around the garden. I'm establishing some herb beds, and just in some of my flower beds, I'm establishing some herbs. All right, here, again, I pulled out a bunch of things. I'm trying to collect some seeds from, I think these are rutabagas, purple rutabagas. This is a bigger one right here. So I'm trying to let some things go to seed and then collect some seed. I believe this is like the dazzling blue kale and then maybe lacinato kale there. But I'm collecting some seeds on some things. So I'm sharing the space until they're ready to give me some seed. Then I'll pop those out of there. More herbs. You'll see quite a bit of onions alongside of my bed. Don't mind my mess. This is leftover from me earlier. I'm coming back out tomorrow to get back into finishing up some things. This is lovage, which is a lot like spinach. I'm sorry, it's a lot like celery in terms of the taste, but it does spread its seed quite a bit. And I'm finding a lot of little transplants and seedlings around the garden, which is fine. But it's nice to have in the garden. I didn't expect it, honestly, to go this well. This actually might be, that's actually Japanese parsley, y'all, excuse me. I'll show you the lovage in a little bit, but this is Japanese parsley. I just had to taste it. As I got closer, the leaves looked a little bigger than the lovage. I have a mullein plant over here, which is really pretty. I'm finding, I found some seedlings earlier in the garden that I'm going to share some with my mom. I might put some in the kind of cottage garden area that I'm establishing. Planted a couple tomatoes over here, things that I'm also letting go to seed from the winter. And honestly, I can still collect and harvest off of those to make more green powder. I want to see how much I get with my first harvest that I made, which is actually like 6 gallons It's in 2-gallon bags, so it's like 6 gallon of harvest that I'm working on. I'm gonna turn slowly so I don't make you dizzy. This grow tower has gone pretty wild. You can see the strawberries. I'm honestly okay with them being some kind of ground cover in the garden. Not expecting them to get, you know, if they're ground cover, I'm not expecting to get much harvest off of them necessarily, but it's just nice to have extra plants when I need them. So I haven't planted anything in this grow tower. I really need to kind of tidy it up and reestablish. On the outside of the fence here are Jerusalem artichokes. That's my compost bags over there. So Jerusalem artichokes are in these 4 bags, and actually I think there's a couple other bags that I have those in. I really need to do something with those this year because normally they do flower really pretty. They get really tall and make like a really pretty like sunflower. But I would like to do something else with them. And of course the roots are edible. They taste a lot like a potato. I'm going to figure something out with that this year. Some ranunculus over here. That's a variegated lavender, which is really, really pretty. Milkweed. I'm trying to see. I have a pink milkweed, and I've shared some plants, and I've also collected the seed. I'm trying to see if the seedlings will be true like their mom, if they'll be pink or will they be orange. So I'll keep you posted on that. And then right along the fence, I'm trying to establish some more lemon and orange trees from cuttings I made last year. So I'll keep you posted on that. These 2 file cabinets on the outside of the fence are full of strawberries that honestly need to be thinned out. I won't thin them out until after they're done fruiting, which there's loaded with fruit. So I really hope I get to benefit off of the fruit that's coming in. This is catnip, which this is related to mint. So I do keep it in a container. The seeds do spread with, the wind. So I'll find seedlings. Usually I just pluck them up. But it's a really, really healthy plant. You can use this medicinally. But honestly, for now, I have drank it. It doesn't taste bad. But it's just really nice in a pot, I think. More milkweed. I think this is a bush, which I cannot remember the name of right now. I probably need to take that out of this pot and then give it its own home to live in. I feel like it's related to blueberry, but I can't remember the name of it right now. Spinach, I sowed a few seeds. Looks like another baby mullein plant that I'll pull out later on. I'm gonna turn slowly because we forgot a few things. This is new this year. This is a strawberry mint plant, which smells a lot like strawberry. I was so surprised. And again, I keep mint and things like that will take over your garden bed. I keep all those in pots. Some cucumbers that are that I did not plant here. I guess they were spread by an animal or something like that last year. So what I do plan to do is up-pot these and then put them in a more permanent home. But it's cool to see that, I have some cucumber plants coming in. I was just thinking about starting the seeds today. So lacinato kale, there looks like a potato that went rogue in that bed. And then more cucumber plants that are volunteering throughout this bed here. I did have, I think it was jade cucumber growing in this area last year. It might have been the green giant. Another strawberry bed that needs to be thinned. But again, strawberries, if I get to reap the harvest, the strawberry plants are loaded. Like every single plant is loaded this year. So I'm going to have to figure out some netting to protect those, and then something to deal with the slugs to make sure we get a harvest there. some sunflowers and beans planted in that bed. And then I have a lot of, I know this is a weed. Just not exactly sure what it's called, but I have a lot of that in my garden. And just around the house. It's kind of annoying, but that comes with the territory. This is a orange mint plant right there. And then this one needs to be, the pot needs to be changed, but that is a, what is that called? It likes the shade. I can't remember. I have some more in different colors around side the house, but I'm going to change the pot on that one. Here is a clematis that is growing over this vine. This is just one plant. It's gotten huge over the years, a couple of years that I've had it here. So this year I might try to thin it out and then put it in other places. But it is loaded with blooms, so I'm very excited to see it in full bloom. As you can see, some have already opened up. It is purple. So every once in a while I'll come and just kind of, train it up the vine a little bit. But it's a clematis that's gone fairly wild, which I'm okay with. This is, of course, has a bunch of plants from the winter that have gone to seed. Looks like cabbage. And then some baby cabbage. I'm hoping to get a harvest off of. I think those are Wakefield cabbage. I did not get one head of cabbage this year. I harvested a bunch of leaves, but no heads this year. Turn slowly around. This snapdragon actually has been in here for at least a year. I want to say going on 2 years. But I didn't realize that snapdragons will perennialize in some cases. Not all of them, but sometimes they will. So that's pretty cool. This is the catnip that has transplanted itself or volunteered itself through a seed in that pot. Which I do have some crocus in here too, which I didn't get any crocus blooms this year. So maybe they're not happy in those pots there. So I might transplant those somewhere else. I planted some more tomatoes here and then did some Cosmo seeds. This is a yellow yarrow plant, which there's a spinach plant right behind it that's going to seed. I'm going to collect seeds off of that. But this yarrow plant actually I thinned out because it had taken over this whole pot and it was huge from one little pot. So I shared some, I planted some in another place, and it looks like I can actually probably thin it out again. I thinned it out last year. So when this is in bloom though, it's beautiful. There's a lot of seeds that I need to plant. So you'll see quite a few empty spaces in the garden. I'm still working on just, kind of where I want things. This is oregano plant, which I have oregano around the garden in different places. I like treating herbs almost like a hedge in some cases. So like this is golden oregano, which I think is just really beautiful. I've thinned it out a little bit, shared some, put some in around or in other places of the garden. But it's a beautiful kind of just pop of color that's also edible. So I'm doing that more and more this year, which I'm really, really liking. Another kind of empty bed, I planted some, what is this called? Nasturtium in some various places. So that's starting to come up along with sunflower seeds. And then more nasturtium here. This is that weed I was talking about, which, whenever I see it, I just pull it out. This is a bachelor button plant there. And then this sorrel, which I think it's supposed to be called raspberry sorrel, but it doesn't taste like raspberry. So I just really use it as a kind of a foliage, a pretty foliage, but it is edible. More broccoli, and I think this is mostly broccoli. There are, I think, some cabbage in here too. And then some of the baby sunflowers coming up. This is, I want to say chocolate mint. Oh no, this is berries and cream mint. Which has a little bit more of a spicy fragrance to it, but it is a mint plant. And here's another strawberry bed, which I was telling y'all earlier, like all of the strawberry plants are just completely loaded with strawberries. So, oh, there's one that's got to keep an eye on that one. So very exciting to see so many strawberries this year. So this is what I thought was going to be the lovage, but that also tastes just like the Japanese parsley. I'm going to have to intentionally plant both of each plant just to be able to tell, because parsley does kind of have, the Japanese parsley does kind of have a celery taste to it, but the Japanese parsley is also, it has a milder parsley taste, so it's kind of hard to tell them apart. It's very flavorful though. Here's the lavender that I did start from seed last year. I was very proud that it actually came up. I sowed some Rudbeckia seeds there, and this is, I want to say, longevity spinach. That's coming back from last year, so that's exciting to see. That's actually, I think, a 2-year-old plant. Normally I'll bring some in over the winter, but I didn't last year, so excited to see that back. More somewhat empty pots on the outside of the fence. I took out a bunch of the grow bags from inside the garden, and I put them on the perimeter of the fence until I come up with a plan or better plan for them. But some do have asparagus. This is a perennial bulb. I think it's called Liatris. That's coming up there. There's leeks, potatoes, and some. So I'll figure out a plan for what I'm going to do with those. Another grow tower that I do need to fill up with seeds. But as you can see, it does have some things left from the winter still there. Some kale, cabbage, and then some random strawberry plants spotted through. More oregano here. Some of these pots are empty. This should be, if it comes back, I believe I planted sweet marjoram there, maybe, but may have to split the other one and put it in there to see if it comes up or does better. More thyme, and then various things going to seed. This ended up being a really convenient bed of lettuce there. I have some carrots that I'm hoping to get some blooms off of this year. It looks like it's about to do that. Usually in the second year, carrots will produce their flower and also produce seed, but it also, it looks like a, when it goes to flower, it looks like a Queen Anne's lace. So it's really, really pretty when it goes to seed. So I will intentionally leave some carrots in the ground for them to go to seed. More things going to seed, and honestly, things that are going to seed, I just don't know what I'm putting or the order of the bed yet, so or the order of the garden. But I do have so many seeds to plant, so it's going to get filled up for sure. Lavender here, coral bells, that's what it's called. So I have 2 of these. I'll change the pot on that one. This is giant mustard right here. So I'm wanting that to go to seed so I can collect more of them, just because the leaves, let me show you. The leaves can get really, really big on the giant, I think it's called green, let's see. Okay, giant leaf mustard is what it's called. I think that's called red Russian kale right there. So a couple of those are going to seed. Some more carrots. This bed, I put some onions around the perimeter, and also some of my favorite sunflower, the teddy bear sunflower seeds in here. So the middle for now is empty. I think I may put some cabbage in here. I'm trying to come up with a better system for cabbage to make sure I get a harvest, because a lot of times I get frustrated with cabbage due to the vine borer. So I'm trying to figure out if I should cover them or inject the BT. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that. I did plant some carrots today, so I used still use the same method I showed in one of my earlier videos. if you sow the seeds of the carrot into wet soil and then cover them with, I don't know, a board or plastic, I use a brick today, you're going to remove that after 7 to 14 days. When you lift it up and you see that the carrots are growing, and then you take the brick off and there you have your carrots. So that's the only way I grow carrots and have had luck with them. Added some more soil there. You can see some nasturtium coming up in that pot. And then the bachelor buttons. I can't remember if I planted these. I did plant them one year, but I can't remember if I planted them intentionally to come back. Again, either way, they're beautiful in that pot. And there's another little volunteer on that side. I planted some peas a few weeks ago. Those are up and ready to go up this trellis here. And then another tomato, 2 tomato plants here. This is mugwort, which can get really, really big and take over. So usually I'll just trim it back. And the plan is honestly just to leave it in this pot because it can get so big and kind of take over an area. Up here, this is kind of the mini orchard. I also have in here some asparagus, some rhubarb, which honestly I think I'm gonna take out this pot this year. The more Jerusalem artichoke, plum tree, which is new this year. It has fruit on it, so we'll see if that was actually pollinated, but it's loaded with fruit. We'll see if we get fruit this year, fingers crossed. There is blackberry, which I pulled up from the blackberry I had planted outside of the garden and put in pot. Variegated elderberry. There's a pomegranate. This is, I believe, a golden delicious apple tree. Gosh, I can't remember the name of this one and I lost the tag. I'm gonna look it up because I know what it's called when I see it. A loquat, I think, maybe. I did find a praying mantis egg there, which is pretty cool. Those are beneficial for your garden. So if you see something weird like that, I always try to look it up before I react and kill anything. Just because you never know. So I'll do like a reverse image search to make sure if I leave it that it's going to be okay. Meyer lemon tree here. This is a goji berry, and then red raspberries. That's a new plant. The Meyer lemon tree here. So Meyer lemons in Georgia, you do have to keep kind of in a pot because you can't leave them out in the winter. However, this does need probably a bigger pot. But again, they're still alive. I think I've gotten one lemon. I've gotten several fruit or buds to come on, but only one like actual fruit. So we'll see. This is the peach tree, mulberry there. Now this is a cherry tree, but it looks really, really bad. And honestly, I think this is growth from below the, what's it called? Where they fuse the two plants together. So honestly, I probably will just remove this and replace it with something else. Because I think that's I can't remember what it's called. I think that's the joint right there where they merge the two plants together. So I'll probably remove that. Here's another peach tree here, which I have not had luck getting, well, maybe 2 little bitty peaches the first year. So we'll see how it does this year now that it's in the ground and established a little bit better. This is a thornless blackberry. This is new this year, which is kind of nice not to have to be worrying about the thorns. I did sow some zinnias around the base of the plant earlier, and I do sow flowers around, I keep flowers in the garden just to make sure I get the pollinators. This is a pear tree, Bartlett pear tree. This is another goji berry right here, and then there's some tarragon planted behind there in the same pot. This is the tarragon right here, and more of those little random weeds. an olive tree, which I've had for a few years, and actually last year I did get olives on it. That was the first time it produced fruit. So that was pretty cool to see. Fig tree here. I'm trying out some in 2 pots, and these are actually about 3 years old. And then I have one in ground that I'll just keep pruned pretty low. So this is a fairly small space for a orchard, which I do realize, but the plan is to keep everything fairly pruned. Most things that are in pots, with the exception of like the figs, I do move into the hoop house to protect from the winters. But honestly, some of these things can come out of the pots and be dug and put into the ground. So we'll see if that's a project for later on this year as well. This is a gooseberry tree, and it has fruit. It normally will give me fruit every year. I have not used the fruit, however. So this year I do plan on using the fruit. Do a little bit of research and see what I can do besides like jam. I've tasted it fresh and it's okay. It's kind of bitter. A little sweet, but a little bitter. So I'll figure out a way that we can use it. This is another, I think, 3 blackberry canes that I transplanted. We'll see if they actually survive. Hopefully they do. But I want to try blackberries in pots because they can spread so vigorously. So we'll see how they do in pots. Because I had one planted outside the garden, and like it comes back no matter how many times I try to dig it up, it keeps coming back. So we'll see how it goes in pots. So this is my blueberry hedge. I have like, there's the pink lemonade blueberry for sure. This one is the alfalfa. Let's see, what does that say? Alfalfa blueberry. I know there's one that starts with a T. I need to go back and label them. Tifton blueberry maybe. And I think that's the pink lemonade. It's one of these here. I think it's that one on the end. But they are loaded with fruit. This is the bigger blueberry bush. But they are pretty loaded with fruit. Normally every year I do cover the blueberry bushes with netting because the birds will not be generous when getting their share. So I do cover it just to make sure we get to eat the blueberries. I was trying to see if this was one that I could actually dig up and replant, but I can't tell if that's just a branch. Of course you can start blueberry plants from cuttings, but I just didn't know if it had branched off and became its own little plant. Also in here are some asparagus. I thought I had more asparagus than this at one point, but some asparagus, unless they're just not up yet, so we'll see. And then there are some strawberry plants in here as well, and again just for ground cover. But you can see all of the fruit and flowers on these strawberry plants. Here's another example of the snapdragon that has perennialized. So this is its second, maybe third year coming back in the garden. So thank you so much for tuning in to this video with me. I hope that you enjoyed the little walk around the garden. I hope I shared something that you can benefit from for your own garden. Please share any tips that you have on things that might grow well in Georgia, new varieties that you think I might want to try. I'm always looking to kind of add new things into the garden each year. And as you can see, I kind of have a theme of variegation. I love variegated leaves. So if you have any ideas or plants that you think I should try, please let me know in the comments down below. And as always, find me on Instagram at So Love Garden, where I do share more videos and picture updates of things that I do more so daily in the garden. You'll also find different harvests and meals that I make with some of the things that I harvest as well. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, you guys.